All right. Hey, this week in 1980s news, per the Hollywood Reporter, Oregon Trail action comedy movie in development. So already we know, they've taken a certain angle to this game that I wouldn't say was funny by any means, except for the humor as kids we found it, and even adults now found in it, because of, again, sort of what the gameplay was, which we can talk about, and also the fact that it was really hard. But the Hollywood Reporter writes, grab your wagons and oxen and get ready to ford a river. This movie adaptation of the popular grade school computer game Oregon Trail is in development at Apple. Most of the stuff Apple makes I like, so it's, this could be good too. Will Speck and Josh Gordon, who directed Blades of Glory, which I did not see, and The Switch are attached to direct and produce. So in the kind of comedies, there's some others in these guys' repertoire that they've directed together. Sort of broader comedies, as you could even get from these two films that I mentioned. So I don't know. It's possible it's good. But the most curious thing about it to me is that sources told the Hollywood Reporter that the movie will feature a couple of original musical numbers in the vein of Barbie. I definitely want to hear a song about dysentery.
Oh, yes. Oh,
you almost have to, right? Somebody get Lin-Manuel Miranda on the phone. We need everything that rhymes with dysentery.
Right. All right. Well, they don't have Lin-Manuel, but instead they do have EGOT winners Benj, Pasek, and Justin Paul. Those are the duo that wrote the Tony Award-winning Dear Evan Hansen, which is a fantastic musical, as well as the movies La La Land and The Greatest Showman. Now, I'm just noticing this hairstyle I have right now, which I just got a couple days ago. I'm looking to me like Bert from Sesame Street a little bit, like really short or bald on the sides and just like a poof of hair on top. Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert.
All you need is a
look good there, Bert.
Cat, I have that, except I would have it, but for tweezing for like 40 years now. It finally stopped growing back. No lie. It's unknown how the film will portray the story in the game that is meant to mimic 19th century pioneer times, following a covered wagon train heading west. What we do know, however, is the origin of this particular game, which is that it was developed in 1971 by a teacher, Don Rawich, I'm going to say, who was a senior at, who was a student teacher rather. A student teacher While working as a student teacher in 1971, Don Rawich, a senior at Carleton College, recruited two friends to help with his project. His goal was to teach 8th grade school children about the realities of 19th century pioneer life on the Oregon Trail. Now, first of all, what is that goal? Like, what is it to have that goal? Like, who gave him that goal? That they had to understand the realities of it. I don't remember being taught the realities of anything. Just got the facts.
Yeah. I saw a documentary about the creation of Oregon Trail. It might have even been just like maybe it was one episode of one of those games that made us or something, but it started as a project, and he brought it into the computers for kids to try and play, and they were like, this is the best thing ever. They couldn't get enough of it. He and his buddies, as you said, had like plotted it all out on the kitchen floor on these big sheets of newsprint to figure out the flow chart and what the decision tree was. And it was meant to be an educational tool. It was a way, as I recall, to kind of, they love computers. How can we integrate computers into this social studies lesson? Oh, what if we made up a thing about this? But when I think about making a film about it, though, other than a musical comedy, there have been 1,000 films about the wagon trains headed out west. It's not like, finally, a movie about wagon trains. Wait a minute.
Yeah. And certainly, unlike the goal of the game, which was to, give some sort of historical, perspective, this movie's not going to be that if it's like you're pointing out a musical comedy.
Right.
No. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't remember. I think I must have played it at some point back in whenever, I guess in the 80s, whenever it came out. But I don't have a strong remembrance of playing, but I did play it as a card game.
Okay, right.
Like 10 years ago. So it started as a computer game and then became a card game? Is that correct?
Well, it started as history. Initially, there really was a wagon train across. That was then the basis for the video game, yes.
Oh, so that came first.
It was a very rudimentary video game at first in the early 1970s. And then as time went on, they were able to make it more sophisticated. The version that we're probably most familiar with is the one that came out in 1985. Between 71 and 85, they called the game Oregon. In 1985, they called it the Oregon Trail. That's when you had that green on black game that was probably on an Apple II in your school or library at the time. But you're right, Kat. In the decades that have followed, because of its popularity, there's been several different iterations published, including those for various computer systems now and gaming consoles, including Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, smartphones, tablets, and you've got your analog versions as well in the form of board games and card games. Any version I've played, and I've played the card game, my daughter and I used to play that, they're equally as hard as the video game. I don't think we ever won.
I don't remember winning.
Maybe you just didn't play enough. So I saw in the chat, Jason is here, a friend of mine. He and I have sat shoulder to shoulder and played Oregon Trail on the TRS-80 in the library of our elementary school, or middle school, or wherever it was, when we should have been eating lunch. It's just about persistence. It just keep plugging away at it. And because the one we played was written in Tandy Basic, you could
now we got to it.
That changed some stuff, and we'd write our own stuff.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I wouldn't say cheating. You can just tweak it. That's
but that's look. So to your point about this idea of persistence is, if you didn't hack it the way you're suggesting, it's because in the coded in the game are certain there's randomness, and statistically certain things will happen, won't happen. You play it long enough, you can. Statistically speaking, I've never played it that long, John. And part of the reasons that I'm surprised it's still popular is, unlike games, we talked a long time ago with Elise Noor, who wrote a book about Super Mario Brothers 3. And in examining the book, she talked about how Nintendo went to great lengths. They have this philosophy of the psychology of gaming, where they lure you in with little rewards so you'll want to keep playing and feel successful. It's this like dopamine cycle you get into. This game is counter to that. 3 or 4 times, and you're like, fuck this. I could do something else.
It's just punish you.
You want to play tic-tac-toe on a sheet of paper in the cafeteria? I'm fine with that.
Right. This game has a this'll teach them kind of mentality. It's like, oh, thought you were doing well? Guess what? Someone in your party died. Wait, what? Yeah. Can't undo it.
Now you're right. It's funny they say, because this'll teach you. That was the attitude of what was his name? John Rawwich. I think is.
And how do you play that and go, this would be great as a musical comedy?
I noticed someone named Krakenwise, spelled as in release the Kraken, posted on their 2012 blog, quote, "It's an impossible video game with a simple message. Life is hard, you'll never win, and you're going to die a horrible death if you do anything involving a Conestoga wagon." Amen, brother.
Maybe not wrong.
Karen says, we had Oregon Trail at home because my dad worked for IBM. We couldn't have an Atari or Nintendo because we could only play educational games.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey, you guys want to play calculator? Maybe this time 2 + 2 will not be 4. Oh, maybe that, yeah.
Statistically speaking.
If you turn it upside down.
Right. Look at that. Tim says, am I the only one that hates La La Land? I never saw it because I could tell I'm not going to like it. Even though I like musicals.
Did you?
I did.
I didn't see it. I didn't know.
I think it wasn't my favorite movie. I don't regret watching it. It had some entertaining parts, but not my favorite.
Yeah. Marcus has provided us with a long list of words that rhyme with dysentery.
Yes, he has.
Abinary?
And then he says
accessory, ascetary. Most of them I can't read because it's so tiny. Adversary, and so on. We look forward to you doing the rap break for the dysentery song, Marcus. Brandon.
I like that apiary's in there. That's a great, we worked that one in.
Brandon says, if a movie's going to be made of Oregon Trail, the horror genre seems more appropriate, and no one who ever made that trek was singing and dancing for damn sure. Brandon, there's a film that came out, I want to say last year, maybe? John might remember. It's called The Oregon Trail. Oregon. It is a horror movie.
Oh, no. Oregon Trail.
That was on my wish list forever, and I just got it gifted to me just the other day.
Oh, yeah, Jason's hack it. That's the way to win. That and the Kobayashi Maru, of course. Yes.